can do anything you want. I ain't got no problem with it. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. No, come find me. No, come find me. Listen to the words. Come find me. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off.
I ain't a hard guy to find. I promise you that shit.
Listen to the words. Garbage, a joke, clown acts, pisses me off. Man, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. It is Tuesday evening, game week for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And look, man, it's Q&A. We're gonna fire them up. We already got a load of questions we got to get to. I'm gonna try to be a little bit quicker so we can get to a lot more questions. But by now, you guys know I'm long-winded. Big mouths, big heads. We're like that, okay? We like to talk. We like to hear ourselves talk. But I just want to do this before we get going because I think it might answer some questions that I know people are going to ask. First of all, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff, whatever. Business out the way. Appreciate you for doing it. Man, I love being able to get to know other programs because you guys know things about me when it comes to the film guy here. I love good football. I'm not a fan of any particular sport or any particular team. I don't have anything like that. Nothing carries with me like that. Okay, not anymore. All right. I just love great football. I love great organizations. I love great cultures. I love brilliant people. I want to study from them. I want to learn habits from them. I love people who are insanely passionate about what they do because I find myself to be that kind of person, or at least someone who aspires to be that kind of person. So I'm telling you right now, I've spent 2 days around an Ohio State program that though their leader may be drier and slightly more stiff than those sandwiches that keep going viral on the TikTokers, okay, that are harder than bricks in the oven getting eaten out here, okay, even though he's a little dry and stiff sometimes, boy, is he a genius, okay, offensively. And boy, is that offensive coordinator a damn football coach. Good Lord, listening to Kevin Wilson today was like, you know what? And I'm like 5 feet from him, and I can tell, y'all know it. You can sniff fake. You can smell real. Right there on spot, knew he was a guy. Listen to the other 5 guys talk about him. He's a dude. They love him. All right. Listen to the way that program speaks about respect for the environment that they are cultivated in and the culture that they're cultivated in, right? That program at Ohio State, they may be up north. They may play a totally different style of football than y'all, but they cut kind of similar. I'm not going to lie to you. They recruit the same caliber of football players you do. I looked at it today. I'm not a big rankings guy, but it's the only metric we have to compare classes, and I'm damn sure not going to do the work to do it all full like myself. So thank you, 24/7 Composite. But the consensus is that they got just as good football players as you do. They do. They play a different style of football than y'all. I prefer your style of football. They have a different style of head coach than you. I prefer your style of head coach. I said this on 680 The Fan. I think one head coach is we do what we do until you learn how to stop it. Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley, Josh Heupel, all the Shanahan trees, all of them. They run their offense. They don't change. You have to dictate how to stop it. All right. Where there's the other side of coaching, whereas week in, week out, we're going to be a different football team. We are going to adjust. We are going to adapt. We're going to change as our roster changes. We're going to make all these changes. Culturally, we're going to shift as the culture shifts around us. We're going to constantly adapt. Bill Belichick does it. Kirby Smart does it. Nick Saban does it. I prefer that one, okay? They may be totally different, but damn, they do a lot of similar stuff. And whatever culture is, I don't know how to make it. I don't know how to define it. I really don't know what the words are. Couldn't Webster it. Could not. I think Webster's dictionary is fugazi. They can't really explain it unless everyone would have one. I don't know how to explain it, but damn, you can feel it. Damn, you can feel it. Sit in the room, listen to those young men talk about their football program, just like we do every week with Georgia folks, and we get to talk about it, right? I love being passionate about good football, good cultures, brilliant people. They got a whole bunch of that, just like y'all do. Let's talk about the football game now via a Q&A. But I think that might answer some questions like this one. I saw in here, right here, Drew. This kind of sparked this rant here. It's a brilliant question. with all the time you spent around Ohio State's program, basically in Atlanta, both these teams, how has it changed your projection of the game? To me, I don't think the game shakes out any differently. I think one of these football teams is more complete than the other, and we will get into that as the night progresses. But I came away with a lot more respect for how that football program has gone about winning. Because we can sit here and do the Big Ten's garbage or whatever opinions you have about the situation in that conference. You can have whatever opinions you have. But I'm telling you, Paris Johnson, NFL dude, Imoka Ibuka, going to play in the NFL. Marvin Harrison Jr., that guy's going to play in the NFL. Two of their defensive ends right now, going to play in the NFL. Jack Sawyer, we're a coin flip there. I don't know how long he's going to play in the NFL. Someone's going to give him a run. They got a roster just like you guys do. Do they have the head coach that you do? I don't think so. But, that's splitting hairs, right? And he's damn sure winning a lot of football games. So did it change my overall outlook or projection of how this game is going to shake out? No. Did I come away thinking that no matter what, Ohio State's going to be really, really good for a long time? Yeah, but we already knew that. Fox says, how do you expect A.D. Mitchell's return to impact the football game? Well, here's the deal. I think A.D. Mitchell, for the first time all year since Oregon, we're going to get to see at least a 95% A.D. Mitchell. Has to be. I'm really going to find out at practice tomorrow and the next day. That's right. Boy getting practice access. 15 minutes. We ain't going to see nothing, but we're going to see what we can see, and we'll report back thusly. But back to AD. I saw him in pregame against their last home game against Georgia Tech. Thought he looked like he was not favoring anything. Then he got in the game, got a little cold, looked a little stiff. Looked stiff to start the football game against LSU. Really from the box looked like, after the trick play, but must be somewhat 100% healthy. High ankle sprains, give him another 30 days since SEC championship game. He should be ready. He should be full go. What does that do to the football game? Man, it makes third and long a whole hell of a lot easier. We've been talking about that on this program all year. All year. Where's the X? Where's the X? Because wherever the X is the easy answer. It's the easy now. It's the win. We don't have to worry about Brock getting double teamed. One guy can go win on one-on-one. That's what it changes. It makes 3rd and 5 a whole hell of a lot less daunting for Todd Monken and everybody in the box. And you become a whole hell of a lot less predictable. Hey, guys, remember, make sure you're hitting question marks on the end of your comments so we can get to them rapidly. All right, I'll miss them. I'm just scanning here. Which offensive player from Ohio State, not named C.J. Stroud and Marvin Harrison Jr., poses the biggest threat to UGA? Imoka Ibuka to me, because look, I said this on the radio. It's gonna get to the points only Tuesday. People are gonna start booking your boy, and we're gonna really refine these takes come Friday. Boy, we're gonna refine these takes. Imoka scares me because Emeka would scare me defensively because I know the deal. I know that Javon Ballard is on the field because damn, he shuts down the screen game. Damn, he shuts down wide zone, stretch zone, truck sweep, all that good stuff. He's elite, okay? From literally, if you were to take the screen right now from the right tackle over and just at a 5-yard clip and draw it straight to the sideline, that's Bullard area. That's the Bullard zone. That's his. No matter boundary field, that's all 22s, okay? And he's locked it down. Now, you press him vertically, you double move him with no safety help. You, give him a dig. He might give up some space. You slant him quick. You come like not the best cover corner, okay, against a guy like Emeka who is going to play on Sundays. However, they're a big screen team. So he has to be on the field because he's going to alleviate all the pressure and all the yards after catch and all the easy money that they get. So he has to be on the field. Here's what I would do. Wink. Live YouTube nug here. Here's not only what I think they're going to do and what I would do, but what I think they're going to do. Hey, man, every time critical downs this year, what have they relied on against passing teams? Tennessee in particular, right? What did they do? Prime example. Okay, 3rd and 8, midway through the fourth quarter, or midway through the 3rd quarter, game's really in a swing, rain's coming down. We're going to blitz Bullard. And we're going to put Malachi Starks in coverage, and we're just going to play man coverage. And we're going to trust 24 who is the best freshman in college football on the defensive side of the football. Maybe this JT Tuamaloa guy on the other side might give him an argument for that. But I think coverage-wise, best like recovery safety that there is, and can walk down and play man-man, right? That might be something that you see. So there you go. But Emeka scares me because the coverage in the slot this year, even Tyke, I love Tyke to death. Open field tackling, instincts. Zone corner, not a man nickel. He is not. I love him to death as a human and all that good stuff. Not a man corner. Won't do that in the league. He'll sit and he'll pick a whole bunch of footballs off for a team that plays a bunch of zone. Good football player. It's what he did as an All-American at West Virginia. Here we go. JD the guitarist says, can you talk about how Michigan held OSU to 3 points the whole second half, and can Georgia do that? Yes, and here's why. Initial first down success, okay? I would venture to say that a large portion of Ohio State's rushing attempts come on first down. Their offense is predicated off getting into favorable situations, favorable sticks, and then taking shots. That's what they want to do. You can't take shots 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10 becomes a get-back play. So what did Michigan do to hold them to 3 points in the second half? They got their ass off the field because they couldn't move the sticks, because they were behind the sticks, right? And what do I mean by that? They were off schedule. So you have to be able to shut them down early in rundown situations, right? You have to get off the field on 3rd and long, 3rd and medium, which is beating C.J. Stroud, Emeka, and Marvin Harrison Jr., and Julian Fleming as well. You have to beat all these guys. You have to knock the ball down. You have to make sure they don't convert, right? And be great football players. You have to be good too. But you also have to stop the run early on downs, right? So they don't have a comfortability to throw the ball down the field. Let's see here. Which, by the way, I think JD, I think he said he just joined. Yeah, right here. I think this is right here. Just joined Patreon over there. Patreon.com/Brooks Austin. Said he's been watching film for days now. I find a lot of newcomers do this, right? It's like a binge watch, like it's Netflix, but for football nerds. There you go. We used to call it pub subs. Like it's all it costs, a pub sub a month. You know, not that Subway. We're talking that pub sub. You know, if you're a Jimmy John's guy, I hear you. You know, if you're a Jersey Mike's dude, getting sloppy for a lunch, man. It's really greasy for me, even for a big guy. I mean, look at the chins on this dude. Here we go. Let's go to CD. CD says, which running back, in your opinion, is going to have the most success in this game for UGA? So I had a real like football dilemma on this one. I had to call the football OGs, the football lords in my life, right? The guys that pour back into me and give me football knowledge and say, hey, bro, like if a team's really upfield, like they are predicated on allowing defensive linemen to get upfield or 3-4 yards upfield and like really chase sacks, really chase TFLs, really chase havoc plays. But what it does is like it really creates lanes and like creases. And I'm like, hey, what do you do against this team? Do you counter them to death because they're so far upfield? Do you try to stretch them? Do you try to run inside zone against them and try to really hit A-gaps? Like, what are we doing if guys are getting upfield heavily? And the initial response from a bunch of smart people was, oh, you counter them to death. You counter them to death. So what does that mean for Georgia? If you're going to run counter a bunch on Saturday, which I think you're going to in the run game, and then work the play action off of that, that means the two smaller, shiftier backs, right? That means Kenny McIntosh and Dejon Edwards. They have shown an ability to really, really hit the creases that are created via a counter type of scheme. Down, down, around. Down, 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 around. There you go. That's how I would coach counter to a down, 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 around. Man, if you're a football mind, you're like, he just pantomimed counter for me. That was awesome. If you're not, you're like, what is this idiot doing on my screen right now? Super sub right here. Let's hit Remy. Woo. Entertain this for a second, please. Let's assume. I always love, first of all, Remy, thank you for the super sub. I also love when someone knows they're about to be slightly inconvenient or take too much of your time. Man, that's appreciative. Here we go. Entertain this for a second. Let's assume UGA wins this chip this season and became back-to-back champs. What do you think a three-peat would mean for the program and the legacy of Kirby and Stead? So, first of all, the two-peats only been done, I think, twice since the 90s, think Nebraska did it in the mid-90s, and Bama did it in 11 and 12. So if you do it twice, you're one of 3 in the last 35 years of college football. You do it 3 times, you're 1 of 1. That's what it means. Literally 1 of 1. You're the GOAT. It's so hard to do that. I mean, it's so hard to win 2 in a row. Here we go. Robert Franklin says, OG subscriber right here. Who has the most rushing yards against OSU? I think I can just kind of hit both of those. I would go either Kenny McIntosh or Dejon. One thing I know about Kirby, he never rides the horses. He never rides the horses hard. He don't, you know what I mean? Like, I've been watching Yellowstone, obviously. He don't ride them hard and put them up wet. He never does until he needs them. Until he needs them, or until the horse looks at him and says, I'm ready to roll. Like, unleash me, let's ride. I think this might be one of them times in Kenny McIntosh's career where he looks at Coach and says, Coach, I've been waiting for 23 carries in a football game my whole damn career. Please give it to me. We are running counter down these boys' throats. Give it to me. That would be cool. Robert doesn't even ask a question, just hits the super subs. I love that. I also love Buckeye fans have obviously found the channel. And one thing I love about what we do, I've said this multiple times on this platform. I love that, first of all, YouTube's search algorithm is that strong that I can just put Ohio State in the Minchies and they show up. They flock, okay? They flock like a bunch of Buckeyes, okay? And I don't even know what a Buckeye is. I think it's just some nut with, I think it's a nut with chocolate on it. I don't know, whatever. Thank you for being here. But one thing I love about the interactions that we have is that, like, I really get to learn about other fan bases too, because I don't, when it comes to, I might be hot takey guy here. People might think I'm hot takey. I'm just really confident in the opinion. When it comes to the film, that is not hot takes, dude. That is me sitting there trying to get everybody better. That's what that is. I'm not picking on nobody. I'm not, because I one day want to be a coach, right? One day down the road, eventually, we will be a coach somewhere, right? So I'm trying to sculpt that craft while on a board in front of all you people. That's all I'm doing. I'm not standing up being a homer. I'm not standing up being fanboy. I'm not nothing. So when people hop in the comments from Ohio State fans, Clemson fans, Florida fans, Tennessee fans, Bama fans, we really get a taste of like what that fan base is. Because for once, they're not getting biased reporting. It's me talking football. And Ohio State fans, I will give you this. No beefs. Not one of you. They're all like, damn, he's right. Now he's talking. That's good football stuff. So appreciate you there. Florida fans, ignorant, just don't want to hear nothing about nothing. Just tell me how great my team is. Don't tell me how bad they are on football film. Clemson fans, I call them Canadians. I've never heard a Clemson fan say anything bad about me. That's about that. Alabama fans, very new to football, if you will. Very new to football. That's very obvious by the way in which they attack me. I think we've done this rant before. But yeah, I appreciate you, Ohio State fans, nonetheless. Have you hit the like button yet? It's a great question from my boy Billy right here. Billy, you own it right now. Fox, I'm not skipping you, but we've already hit you a couple times, so we're going to scroll down because I think we got we got a bunch to hit here. Here we go. Guys, if I miss you, you might have to, I'm not doing this to do this. You might have to super sub to get it. There's a lot. Okay. This has no longer become the days where I come into this with anxiety as to how many questions I get asked. There's a bunch getting asked. So here we go. Like the next one. I love the next one. Special teams could have a big impact on this game. Who do you feel has the advantage on special teams? Again, I favor coaches that are detail-oriented. I don't know much about Ryan Day, but I know one guy is a super freak about these things. And I also know, since I've covered Georgia, knock on wood for you guys' purposes and for mine, for the Minchies, I don't think I've seen Georgia have a punt blocked. I don't think I've seen Georgia have glaring mistakes. If you watched the film study last night, we pointed out an obvious, what the shit just happened? Watch a snap infraction happen and then turn around and almost have a catastrophic error on special teams because your punter thought a fake was coming and your upbacks thought a fake was coming, but your snapper did not. All these things do not happen to Georgia coach football teams. In fact, the inverse happens. Georgia blocks field goals, and then the only player on the field that knows the true rule of when the ball is dead is the Georgia player, Chris Smith, who picks it up and takes it back for a touchdown. Great question, James. I just think it's one-sided. Gummies and swing sets, 100%. Okay, 1,000%. Gramco.com, promo code Brooks25. Have you some little shitlins, okay, some little kids, okay, and then go out there and ride a swing for once as an adult. Okay, you know what? Not to get on my high horse here, on my rant here, I think that might be the problem with people these days. They just don't get on swings enough, okay? So get outside, get on a swing and just whee, you know what I mean? It's fun, okay? Just trust me on this one, okay? But make sure you have a child around the parks, okay? Just be careful. But yeah, swings and gummies. Shouts out. You're the Dogs ask, how possible is it for a team with seeming physicality issues to fix that within a span of a month? I thought this was really, really interesting today. I mean, super compelling to me. Other people, I don't know. I think it was missed. I asked a question about physicality. The question was, hey, SEC versus Big Ten. It's to all three of you. It was Marvin Harrison Jr., Paris Johnson, and Trainum, the converted running back. Okay, all three of them. And I said, hey, SEC versus Big Ten, when these types of football games get brought up, people bring up the word physicality. Have y'all been doing anything over the last 30 days to kind of ramp that up? Have y'all been talking about that? Anything going into the game plan about yada, 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 physicality? Marvin Harrison Jr. answers first. He says, nah, that physicality starts back in August. The offensive lineman was next. The offensive lineman had a tone in his voice and a look in his eye that sounded like his manhood had been challenged for the last 30 days. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. You play a football game like they did against Michigan, you get shut out in the second half like they did against Michigan. I'm telling you that the offensive line coach, I don't know his name, don't know who he is. I'm telling you right now, if he's worth the salt, which he is, he's at Ohio State. He did some soul searching and some challenging in that room over the last 30 days to make sure that they had some drop you-know-whats about this football game. And I heard that. I felt that. That's a big man. His voice, the floor rattled in that building when that man came out here and said, nah, physicality. We've been talking about being physical. Yes. I mean, he was very, very adamant about his response to that physicality question. The skill guys, that ain't their bag no matter. That's not their job, right? They're not head of security. They the performers. Does Smile and Ladd come into the game healthy? Yeah, I think so. This isn't me giving you information that hasn't been public. I mean, I think Kirby even said it after the SEC championship game. That's a lingering issue. That's Ladd's. Okay, Ladd's the lingering issue. That is a thing with his knee that has been bothering him all year, and he's a tough SOB. So here we are. Remy, we've already hit you. Rude says, what in one aspect of the Ohio State culture, staff, program that caught your eye? The whole, I hate to say this, but the whole thing, right? The attention to detail, eye contact's huge to me. Eye contact to me. I know when I don't have eye contact with someone else, when I'm not giving it to you, I am not confident within myself at that very moment. So if you see me out here in these streets, okay, and I'm not giving you eye contact, I am uncomfortable. I am, okay? It is important. Successful people give it to you. Confident people give it to you. Go look at the footage we put out. Watch those eyes. Watch those eyes. All of them football players, Georgia players included. When them questions are being asked, the whole time, even when it's not to them, they are locked. Absolutely locked in. They're like robots, man. Both of them. That's what I got away from it, right? It's just how clean cut the whole operation was. Additionally, zero nonsense. None. No grab ass walking in. I know it sounds silly, but we talk about 21, 22-year-old kids, young men. Dude, that was 6 years ago for me, and I know I was off the walls all the time. I mean, hell, it's just hard to control. None of these dudes are locked all the time, locked in. Do you think it's possible we see 13 personnel? It hasn't been who y'all are until the play. It wasn't until like late in the season last year either, though. But I don't think you have, even though I'm blocked on Twitter, I don't think you have, and here's why, because I'm forgetting his name. John Fitzpatrick. I don't think you have a John Fitzpatrick this year. I do. I love Rylan Goody, but if they thought Rylan Goody was Ryan Fitzpatrick, if they thought Rylan Goody was John Fitzpatrick, who's blocked me on Twitter, then they would be running 13. Because especially when AD went out. Like, that would have been the litmus test for me. When I don't see Goody on the injured list, right? And I don't see them going to 13 personnel when AD Mitchell in that stretch of football games was not available, right? And Ladd's banged up. If I don't see them reaching for 13, then why would they be reaching for 13 in the middle of a heated football game? I could be wrong. Maybe they throw it because they think it gives them problems. I don't know. Maybe. So if we favored this season, I think it's okay. She's just commenting. Thank you, Remy. Here we go. Do you have an early score prediction for the football game? No, but not yet. But I think Georgia scores 38 plus. I want to say 42 plus at this point, but 38 plus right now is what my mind wants to tell me. Whether or not if you win this football game, you're going to score 40 points. There we go. That's all I know currently. I said last night in the Discord lounge, in the chat, I think Ohio State is a walking 28 off the bus. That's just who they are. I think no matter what, they score 28 points. Period. It's just who they've been. Unless it's an absolute windstorm in Northwestern, they are a walking 4 touchdowns. When do they come? How do they come? Did you limit them? Did you stop a couple of red zone possessions via a turnover or hold them to a field goal? That's what's really getting at me right now in my final studies, right? As we go to wrap a bow on this stuff going into the football game, because I get nervous about my predictions and my analysis as well. That's why I get so happy when I nail it. I told y'all that they were going to kick the ever-loving shit out of LSU. I told you. I tried to taper my opinions because I knew I was opening myself, but I could not move off of it. The film told me they were going to beat that team by 28 points. They could beat them by 30 if they wanted to. The film's telling me that Ohio State probably won't be able to stop Georgia, but I haven't come to a conclusion as to whether or not Georgia will be able to stop Ohio State. But, man, like every time they play a pace-and-space offense, every time they play a pass-oriented offense, every time they play one of these guys that, like, is just elite when it comes to passing offense and passing concepts, great quarterbacks included, the moment they become one-dimensional because they can't run the football against 5- and 6-man boxes against this Georgia defense, and Georgia's just allowed to play 2 high safeties, it does not freaking matter. It does not matter. The moment they're allowed to get pressure with 4 and don't have to bring 5 or 6 in the passing game, Tennessee, the moment they're caving in your passing lanes with big defensive ends knocking down passes, the moment they're shutting down your screen game, you become downset hut, chuck it up. And though, hey, I'm going to tell you what, this is the one football team. They downset hut, chuck it up better than anybody. So shit, can they do that for 450 yards? And 35 points and hope Stetson turns it over twice? Yeah, they can do that. Other than that, I don't know. You know what I love about Q&A? Most of the time it just turns into MBR. Y'all just like feed me what I'm about to rant about. That's just awesome. Here we go. What do you think the game plan is for Ohio State's defense? I personally think every single time Georgia attaches both tight ends, they load the piss out of the box. Because that's what I would do. Every single time both Bowers and Darnell are anywhere near the box, we stuff it. And we live with the consequences. We live with the consequences of getting beat deep. We live with the consequences of Brock Bowers being in one-on-one at times. We live with the consequences of nobody being there for Stetson's legs if he boots. We live with all those consequences because what it means is that we are not allowing 6.5 yards a rip. Because I promise you on the ground, I promise you right now, Buckies, if you're watching me right now, Buckeyes, I like calling you Buc-ee's better because it's a Southeastern joke. You might get it. You might not. If you drove down here, you definitely get it. You 100% get that joke because you saw billboards for miles. Oh, my God, you saw Buc-ee's signs for miles. The thing about them Buc-ee's is they have a problem stopping the run, okay? And if that's what it's going to be, I don't know. I got completely sidetracked with my Buc-ee's joke. It'd be like that. That was it. That was the question. Yes, load the box, man. Load the box and try to make sure Georgia's not running at you for 6.5 yards a clip. I thought that was the thing. Like, Michigan did a great job of limiting Ohio State in the red zone, but they also had Kirby Smart death marches, guys. Go look at that game summary. We're going to do a defensive breakdown eventually. Go look at it. It's absolutely insane, the ability for Michigan's offense to walk death march, right? And simultaneously, their defense force Ohio State to march themselves. Ohio State don't want to do that. Ohio State does not want to take 12 plays to score. Hell no. Absolutely not. They definitely don't want to have to do it 4 times to muster up 23 points. No, that was the victory at Michigan. Levathion asked, I definitely butchered. I don't know why of all names I went for that one. My bad, bud. Maybe I said it right. Levathion. If you're Ryan Day, do you come out raining bombs from the start, or do you think they start out sticking to what they mostly done all year? I think they come out throwing a bunch of man beaters. I think they come out dissecting zone really well. I think they come out trying to play with rhythm and pace. And then when all else fails, they result to what everyone else has resulted to the last 2 years. Downset Hut, check it up. Downset Hut, check it up. Downset Hut, check it up. See here. Shannon Moore, let's hit this one. Shouts out to the Famales watching tonight. It felt like passing teams were really challenging Keely Ringo the last couple of games. Do you think that trend continues? Shannon, they got asked so many times today about this, and I wished one of them would have been just be like, we were playing 12 yards off. You know, like, I just wish for once a corner could throw his hands up and say, yeah, Chip, I'm just throwing a name. Yeah, Chip, we gave up 535 yards passing, the most in the history of a Kirby Smart era. And yeah, we busted a few coverages. Safety undercut a route he probably shouldn't have. But we were playing 12 yards off. We were bailing immediately off the snap. We were saying downset Hut, back up 12 yards. So they slant and yacked us to death because Keyshawn Boutte is really, really good after the catch. That other dude, really, really good after the catch. They had really great receivers. LSU did. And the game plan was, y'all can do whatever you want inside the 25s. From 25 to 25, you can get as many yards as you can muster up in 48 minutes of game time, 60 minutes of game time. Don't care. But the moment we get in that green zone, the moment it gets to the point to where it matters, you will not get in the end zone. You will not. And guess what LSU did? They scored 2 touchdowns, okay? 2 touchdowns from 40 out. The rest of the time, stalled, immediately in the red zone. Every single possession that they scored on, outside the red zone. That will be the game plan, I think, maybe. I don't know if they play zone all day. I think, like I said earlier, I think they mix it up a ton. Oh. Do we see a bigger role? Nicholas Swain asked, do we see a bigger role from a tight end that's not Brock or Darnell? Very similar question to the 13 personnel question. Don't know if you're going to see 13. I don't know if – I think Oscar Delp's going to be really, really good next year, right? I think Rylan Goody is great. Brett Seether has not really played either. Eric Gilbert already in the portal. What was and is a really, really deep tight end room needs two or three bodies coming into it in this 2023 class, and they're going to get them. They're going to get them. So there you go. It's funny. Like, we're like 8 months removed from Kirby Smart telling the media that he has never seen his defensive back room that thin. And yet, when, like, for example, the idea of Smoke Bowie entering the defensive back room gets floated, I get Georgia fans saying, oh, don't we have enough defensive backs? Don't we have enough? Do we really need another? No, you don't have enough. You never have enough, ever. Just like your tight end room. Don't we have enough right now? Do we really need two going after Deuce Robinson? Yeah, you do. Because in 4 months, Darnell Washington is going to be drafted. In 16 months, Brock Bowers is going to be drafted at a historically high spot, probably. Okay. And by then, Oscar Delp's a sophomore, a redshirt freshman, basically. Okay. So it gets thin really, really quick in college football. Who do you think will be CJ Stroud's biggest problem on the defense? From Georgia, I think the hardest part about playing Georgia is certainly the safety play. Safety play at Georgia is really, really hard to defeat. Let's get to the super subs right quick. Tobias Fleming says, are we still making Tobias's? Shouts out. Tobias Fleming says, better haul at wide receiver this year recruiting. To me, we got a huge upgrade with B-Mac. What do you think? Oh, you're just asking me my opinion, I guess, about the receiver class. Dude, I had two receivers in the My Guys this year. Damn near had three. Anthony Evans. Hey, I bought him. Almost snuck in there. About did it. But we had Tyler Williams and then we had Yazeed Haynes in the My Guys this year. Shouts out. Look, I think it's very, very important that Brian McClendon gets you into bigger rooms. Okay. You needed to be down there in the, I think it was Yazeed Haynes. No. Wide receiver down there committed to Florida State. Probably needed to be in on that one. Jalen Hall or Hale out there in Texas. Probably should be in on that one. You're the University of Georgia. You should be able to walk into rooms and be able to garner attention and be in the top fours and top fives of wide receivers like that. Just like, in my opinion, there's no reason that Caden Proctor shouldn't have taken a visit to the University of Georgia. If that dude's willing to come down from Iowa to play at Alabama, why in the hell can't Georgia get a visit with that dude? Why was it like pulling teeth to get Samson Okunlola on campus? I know I'm veering off the original question here, but to circle back, I think BMAC's about to get you in some big rooms. And while he's not getting you in them in this class because he's playing from behind, he's playing catch up from what Cortez Hankton left him with. They had to wipe the whole board clean, by the way. He's been playing catch up, and he still managed to just, pull dimes. Not the fact that, like, Tyler Williams is not a diamond in the rough. People know that 6'4", just walking gazelle in the defensive backfields knew that dude was going to be good. Everyone knew. He's a 4-star, high 4-star. Yazeed Haynes out of Pennsylvania. That dude came down here once to the South. I got a phone call from him just once from a buddy of mine who ran workouts down here. That dude was how did y'all find him? Y'all just must have been like scanning Penn State's commitment list, something. Anyways, yeah, the dimes recruitments at that wide receiver position this class. Super, super good job there, in my opinion. I think both those guys are going to play well. Yazeed Haynes and Tyler Williams. I think Raymond Cottrell, I compared him to a 6'2" Kearis Jackson. Think about that. Plays just like him, a dog, nasty. Plays like a defensive, like a safety playing receiver. And like I said, I love Anthony Evans too. I think he plays big for a track guy. Robert Franklin. I got RG3 on my mind. $50 super sub right here. Shouts out to him. We're going to give all 5 of these away free subscriptions. So if you're one of the 366 right now, first of all, hit that thumbs up button. Second of all, appreciate you for being here. Third of all, I got 5, count them, 5 free subscriptions to patreon.com/Brooks Austin. If you want to get them, shoot me an email right now, brooks7711@gmail.com. Did I answer the question? Does OSU pay too much attention to Brock? Does that mean Big O gets more attention from Step? The dichotomy of who gets the attention to me doesn't matter. What player, everyone knows they're going to put safety help over Brock Bowers. People get it misconstrued. There's like, what is double coverage? Double coverage looks like two guys like solely focused in man coverage, right? Bracket coverage is a guy working over the top and underneath. Most teams nowadays are bracket coveraging guys. They're not actually saying, hey, both you guys go cover him. That's Randy Moss stuff from the 90s. Defenses don't do that anymore. It looks like double coverage once the ball gets there, but it's really high-low. It's really underneath, over the top, that kind of stuff. So yeah, don't worry too much about like, are they going to put too much attention to Bowers or all this good stuff? There's only so many ways to do things. We saw this with Pickens, but to me, doubling tight ends is obvious when they're good. Like, it doesn't require that much of like a defensive shift either, right? Like if I have to double George Pickens, I have to take a safety and put him like almost on the hash every single snap. I'm like taking him out of the play. He only can play deep thirds. That's really it, particularly if the ball's on the right hash. Like if Pickens is out there and you feel like you have to double and bracket him, you got to really draw coverage over there. Whereas like Bowers is no further than like 7 yards outside the line of scrimmage or outside the tackle box. So we're not really shifting coverage that much to tight ends, right? We may be drawing coverage post-snap and we can work things off of that elsewhere, but we're not pre-snap really shifting defenses. I hope that answered your question. But to me, Robert, to round this question off, the bigger question is, does Ohio State get caught with their pants down because they got 9 guys in the box because they can't stop the damn run? That's the problem. Okay. Do we see Stetson or Staquavius? Asked Dan Kiley. You're probably seeing Stetson. The cut right now is a little curly and froish. Don't think you're going to see Staquavius, but we're going to see tomorrow. He's available tomorrow. If you want to know the names speaking tomorrow, by the way, we have Todd Monken, Brock Bowers, Broderick Jones, Kenny McIntosh, Cedric Van Pran again. I'm gonna have to craft something up for him. And Stetson Bennett. And then Ohio State, a bunch of names. They're giving us Tua Maloau, the freshman, so that's pretty cool. Nah, actually, he's a super senior freshman, like a 19-year-old freshman. Like I almost bought liquor for my senior prom that I didn't attend. Freshman. Random stray right there. That's my apologies. We skipped down a bunch. That was the name right here, Hakeem Williams. So ADD on nights like tonight. A bunch of people in here tonight. I hope you hit that thumbs up button. Hope you like what you're seeing. Nick Carwell asked, will we see Kearis Jackson get more touches in the playoffs? You know, I about said the ship has sailed at this point in the season for questions like this. Can we really develop new roles? But I just thought I'm calling Fugazi on that because of an astute observation I had about this time last year. Do y'all recall the Michigan game? Because I do. And I also recall the SEC championship game the month before. And particularly not the results, obviously, not the differentiation in the results, but more importantly, what they were doing at Z, which is opposite of the X. It's the position Lat McConkey's been playing. It was the position Jermaine Burton was playing. And between the SEC championship game and the first round of the playoffs, they made a distinct switch as to who was playing Z and who was getting the, quote, lion's shares of the reps. And it was 84. And as you recall, in the Michigan game, he took a big tunnel screen for a couple yards, right? In the national title game, he had a couple big plays, right? Those changes really impacted the season moving forward. So will Kearis get more touches? I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't look like it's in the fold or in the cards to me. But what in the hell do I know? Again, hey guys, we got now over 400. We're peaking right here. We are absolutely peaking. Did Brooks just hit a high note? What? If you want to get a question in, I'm gonna tell you right now, at this point, it's gonna have to be that super sub. Rattle that thing. Caleb Warku says, do you think Coach Knowles will go with cover zero blitz versus Georgia? He does at times, especially versus Michigan, as they have it out. It's all third down this year. He just asked the question that we've been talking about a good bit tonight. First of all, thanks for the super sub right there, Caleb. Yeah, and it's the very first question, only question to date that I have asked Kirby about this topic, about this football game. And it was on the Zoom yesterday. I asked him, hey, Coach, you watch. Here's what I did. I'm going to walk you through my process here. It's brilliant. It's not really brilliant. It's obvious. Here's the deal. Georgia's a 12 personnel team. Michigan was a 12 and 13 personnel team. The only other person on Ohio State's schedule that I know for a fact is super heavy tight end out of I, or super heavy tight end out of H, or super heavy tight end out of shot, Wisconsin. That's it. So all we got to do is go check player personnel packages. That's it. I got to watch 6 clips, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, a handful of clips. What were you doing against their base personnel packages? When they put 2 tight ends on the field, what were you doing? Against Wisconsin, 3 safeties. Against every other football team, 3 safeties. I mean, they were just trying to cloud the throwing windows, keep everything up underneath, and let the 4 down linemen just stuff the shit out of the run by themselves and let linebackers run and gun. That's what they were doing. And then Michigan comes up, and all of a sudden, I mean, you can call it coaching ingenuity, you can call it whatever. I call it a coaching staff going into a football game, having no proof to date that they couldn't stop the run in the form in which they had to date, but otherwise knowing that they weren't going to be able to anyways, and designing a game plan thusly. So what did I see? I saw a defensive coordinating staff that went into a game against Michigan that said, we got no chance of stopping the run. So from snap uno, we're going to walk out, we're going to play Engage 8 football. And that's what we're going to do today. They did that last time against Michigan. It didn't work out well. I don't know about you guys. I like Georgia's weaponry slightly more, maybe a lot more than Michigan's. I think J.J. McCarthy's elite with his legs. I think he's a better athlete on the run, better athlete and thrower on the, I know that sounds crazy. Eventually, he's going to be a better athlete and thrower on the run than is a Stetson Bennett. But yeah, man, I got some questions. Speaking of questions, have you subscribed to the channel yet? It's a brilliant question from MD. Have you? Have you subscribed to the channel? Brandon Griffin says, will we see some more design runs for Stetson Bennett right off the bat to get their defense thinking about it early? I am a run the quarterback when you need to, run the quarterback when you know it's the last. Okay, so championship Saturday, SoFi Stadium, run that SOB into the ground. Until then, I truly believe Carson Beck's a great football player. I think he's going to have a chance to win a Heisman next year. Not right now. Not in these settings. Not in, hey, go all walk off cold off the bench and go beat Ohio State. He is that dude. I think he's cut that way. I think he's mentally cut that way. I think every Georgia football player is. Does that mean it's not a rather impossible task or still a rather difficult task? 100%. That being said, this is a team that's typically in soft zone unless they are in Engage 8 blitzing mode, neither of which to me seem conducive for the quarterback screen game or quarterback draw game, or maybe perhaps some read option out the back. Maybe Stetson it gets a little bit more willing to pull the football against read option looks and defensive ends, maybe biting a little too hard down on the backside. All that being said, no, I don't think this is a football team for this. What is a football team conducive for quarterback draws, which is Stetson's really only designed quarterback run. They are not running quarterback power. They're not running quarterback read lead. They're not doing anything like this. They are doing quarterback draw. When you say run game, you're talking about RPOs and quarterback draw, Georgia. That's it. And they ran quarterback draw most effectively against 2-man teams, 2 high safeties, man teams. Okay, so why would they do that? Well, all they have to do is run the defenders off because they're in man. Wide receivers go wherever the hell they want. Defenders are going to follow them. Also, if they press the voids of the 2 middle field or 2 high safeties, they're going to go 2. So they just sent everybody like this, right? A vector. Everybody run 30 yards and kind of towards the pylons. And it opened up this big middle of the field portion. Linebackers darting out with tight ends and running backs in man coverage as well. Those are the kind of football teams you can do a lot of quarterback draw stuff to, not teams that are multiple in facets and not teams that are really upfield and send a lot of blitz or crowd the box. Let's see here. So we got some OSU fans chirping in them chats. Shouts out to Ivy Johnson. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you for watching over on the Facebook. That's right. We got a Facebook page. That's right. We got a Facebook page, Dogs Daily. Guys, quit chirping in the chat and get some cues up. Let's go. I mean, daggum. Let's scroll back up and get some ones that we missed. Let's see here. If Lad is out, he's not going to be out, so you ain't got to worry about that. Who do you think's getting most of his touches in his absence? Combination, they will by committee that Joker. 100% by committee that Joker. If that is the problem, it's not going to be the problem. Again, man, that's a tough dude. Tough dude. Question here from Brandon. He's asking about football interest, so we're always going to hit these. Are you more interested in watching Ohio State's offense match up against Georgia's defense, or are you more interested in Georgia's offensive line, particularly the run game against Ohio State's front seven? I am more fascinated in whether or not Georgia can cover this football team because, I mean, confidence-wise, they're probably looking at it and going, yeah, we can cover them. We can cover everybody. We've covered everybody to date. No reason as to why we can't. We got these two safeties back there. Everything's good. The offensive line thing is hard to even see from like the box watching during a game. First of all, I got, I've already gone through this spiel before on air before, but I got a bunch of things to do in those boxes. Okay. Because, not only are we live tweeting, we're editing live articles, we're publishing injury reports, we're taking pregame photos, we're doing the postgame interviews. Like, as some other companies, these are scattered, responsibilities. Most of them fall on your boy. So a lot going on in that box. So I'm processing a lot of things. It's hard for me to watch offensive line play during the game. However, I'm always watching coverage. I have to. The offensive line stuff, I can see who's getting beat. We can watch replays for that good stuff. What's up? I love you. No, I'm still going. I love you. We'll talk to you in a second. All right. No, the offensive line play is really hard to see from the box. As far as like who's getting beat, how are they playing it? That stuff I see from Rip. Like I saw third, fourth play of the game against Oregon that for the first time ever they were flip-flopping corners, field boundary. Come on, dog. Like I've said this one on air, I think, before. How about PJ Studio just hitting a super sub with no question? That's an OG right there. My gift is not football intellect. That is a gift. Don't get me wrong. My brain processes football faster than it does anything else. I know for a fact. I know it's just my gift. It's what I do best. My gift, however, the blessing from the Lord above, was applying that gift somehow and making a career out of it. If I could bottle that up and give it to everybody, I would. Find the thing that you are gifted at and then find out how to monetize it. That's the key. Not doing what you love. That's some cookie cutter BS. Don't listen to people who are telling you, don't. I love my grandfather. It's one of the best phrases everywhere, but it's cliche for a reason. Do what you love what you do, never work a day in your life. Great saying. Do what you love, but make sure that shit makes money. You know what I'm saying? Please. Let's see here. Do we see Arian Smith make a big play? Man, I have it queued up. I'm not going to tell you the tweet, but I have the tweet queued up. Every time that dude touches it, he scores. I think he scores on 60% of his receptions because he only got about 6 of them. So, yeah, he's a big play waiting to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen, man. And I don't know. I wish I had the answers for that. I know we have a $50 super sub that we're missing right here. No, we already hit it. It's just still lingering. Shouts out, man. Let's go. We got super subs down here. We got to hit. Caleb Gilliard asks, what should my next pair of kicks purchase be? Hey, I ain't trying to mess with your bank account. I ain't trying to mess with your bread. But I just got a pair of Space Jams, as you can see. I've been waiting for this, man. Oh, whew. Yeah. So my first pair of Jordans was a pair of Flints, 2010 edition, Jordan Retro 13s. Okay. Also known as the Flints. I never wear them. Quite frankly, I think they're kind of hideous shoes, but I wear them occasionally, maybe like once or twice a year. My brother that same day got the brand new released Space Jams. Immediate regret watching him pull them SOBs out the box and put them on his feet and then proceed to wear them. I hope he's watching this shit right now. And then proceed to wear them for the next, it's been 10 years. Like I was 12. I got my first pair of J's 12 years ago. and we got those, So I would do something Jordan 11. If you want my life hacks on buying sneakers, okay, particularly Jordans, the only sneakers I really buy. Start out with a pair of low top ones. Look, I'm speaking to my Caucasian brothers here, because y'all got to be careful with shoe selection because we can't pull everything. We can't. So ones, low tops, particularly. If you're a skinnier person, you can wear some high tops. But if you're a big guy, you need to stay in some low tops. I'm telling you right now. So low top ones, we'll try those out. 11s, any 11s, low tops, mids, you're gonna love them. They're actually gonna be comfortable. Only other pair of shoes. Start with those. Those are like baseline, like out the shop J's. Don't do funky color waves, but the traditional color waves, especially the red and black ones, they're gonna cost you some money. So come out the pocket for them. Remy says, is a film review coming soon on Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovick? Or could you give us a quick opinion on both, please? I'm going to say my opinion because I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't had a chance to absorb the film. I should have already, but we've been doing a whole lot of other stuff, as you can probably see. I got an alarm set for 5:15 tomorrow morning. So it's been a little crazy. Robert Franklin, your wife is going to check your bank statements, and she is going to ask, who is this hooker named Brooks on YouTube? And you're going to have to explain to her that it is actually a man named Brooks, and he just talks football. And somehow, my brother, I don't know which one is worse. I don't know which one is worse. If Jalen Carter gets double teamed consistently, which D-line shows out, would definitely tell you look out for Nazir Stackhouse. I think he's been coming on strong, like really playing good football and like under the radar good football because he's quiet. He doesn't really talk a lot, all that good stuff. But he's really, really playing good football at that nose tackle position, and he's kind of taking it over. I'll tell you what, Paris Johnson was very aware of who Michael Williams was. That was the second number he rattled off. That 13. It was like that 13, So I thought it was interesting to hear Muschamp talk today about how they go about avoiding the opposition's ability to double team Jalen. That's their job. Jalen's job is to win. The defensive coordinating staff's job is to make sure that the team that they are playing, the offensive line that they are playing, is not allowed to dictate the slide to Jalen Carter. They will not be able to double team for 4 quarters. They will isolate. They will get isolated, and it's as simple as flashing a mic into an A gap and taking the center's eyes with you, or flashing the nose into A gap and taking the center's eyes with you, because that's where the double team comes from. How about some football talk on here? Who would have thunk? Uh-oh, Alan. Uh-oh. As an Alabama fan, sorry. I had a lump in my throat. As an Alabama fan, I remember you saying they would probably win the Natty this year. Who do you put the most blame on them for that this season? I'm going to tell you what, Alan. I put myself to blame for that theory, in that opinion. I think I said before the year that they, to me, were the Philadelphia Eagles. Like remember that super team, Vince Young, Nnamdi Asomugha. I think they added some a couple of running backs. I think it was LaShawn McCoy. They had all these like gifts, all these like gadgets, right? Souped up, a loaded offensive line. Really, really good football team on paper. And then just absolutely a duck fart in the NFL. Just a flame out. I think it actually got Andy Reid fired out there. But that's who y'all were this year. What I didn't realize was, and I should have known, that Alabama was reaching. They weren't just adding quality pieces. They were adding pieces that they felt that they needed. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you look up and say that we need the left tackle from Vandy, I'm now moving forward going to say that that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Like if we recruit 5 stars left and right, why? Why are we having to go pillage the village at Vandy? I should have had the wherewithal to know that in August. That's a failure on my part. Additionally, like injuries don't help. Injuries don't help at all. But I'm not saying the culture is on fire at Alabama, but you're missing at a much higher rate than Georgia is right now. Georgia hasn't missed on a 5-star in a fat minute, I don't believe. It's been a second. It's been a real minute since Georgia thought a dude was going to be a dude. This guy has to come in and start Mykel Williams. This guy has to come in and start Malachi Starks. And that guy didn't just come in and be like, all right, this is what I do. This is who I am now. I'm an all SEC defender. So what did Alabama do wrong? I think they've missed a couple of times, particularly on offensive line. You start missing offensive line classes. That 2022 class, I've been on the record, it scares the piss out of me as a Georgia evaluator. That one might come to haunt you in 3 years. But that's what it takes. It takes one class of just like whiffs left and right. And you don't feel it until you look 3 years down the road and you're reaching in Vandy. You don't feel it until you have established a culture of, we take Jameson Williams when we need him. We take Louisville gadget receiver when we need him. And we take Jermaine Burton, gadget receiver, 6 foot kind of guy that Georgia is not happy. We take him, right? You start becoming this, like we're gonna grab. And guess what? Yeah, your sophomore, freshman receivers that you're taking portal guys because you missed there. They completely unplug. They just take it out. They're just done. Will we see this residual effect, same residual effect in Georgia's receiving room 2 or 3 years from now? I don't know, but I know for a fact that what I've heard about Georgia and people coming out of that building tell me about the receiver room currently, they did not feel like the receiver room was recruiting at the caliber that the rest of the roster was. So when that happens, what do you have to do? You got to go get better players. And that's what they did this offseason. They got 2 really good wide receivers. They felt like they needed that. And they got 4 more out of the high school class because they felt like they needed that. And if that kind of competitive environment is uncomfortable, then you got to go anyways. You're going to go anyways at the University of Georgia. But I think the main problem in Alabama this year was that the immediate fixes, the immediate glue was gone, right? Like it just wasn't there, or you missed on it. I think the biggest thing for me is watching Drew Sanders be a all SEC football player at Arkansas. I think Alabama could have used that guy this year. At some point, you find a way to get him on the field. And if you can't, that's why Georgia's great. Chris Smith set 3 years. Right? Zion Logg set 3 years. Nazir Stackhouse set 3 years. Jalen Carter set for 2. Set for 2 years. Trayvon Walker, 2 years. These guys sit for a long time. Nyland Green sitting, going on 2 years sitting. Xavier Truss sitting. Warren Erickson sitting. Warren McClendon sitting. All these dudes sit, buy in, wait. Drew Sanders gone, right? I don't study their roster that much. He's just the example. I think that's the biggest line. We can talk about talent, and this is what we're going to end it on all night, on tonight. We can talk about talent acquisition all we want. We can talk about transfer portal all we want. We can talk about NIL all we want. If you don't have a culture that makes people want to stick around, your ass is grass. Your ass is grass in college football because they don't have to buy into you. They're getting bought in themselves. People are buying into them, literally. So if you don't have something that they believe in, they want to be a part of, they want to stick around for, you have a proof of concept that shows that they can actually get you where you want to go, NFL over NIL. If you don't actually have the damn proof of concept, they ain't going. They ain't going. I am, though. We'll see y'all out of here. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I appreciate you. I love you. Damn, I love my job. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm sure some point I'll probably have